Welcome to the video. My name is Monty, and today we are going to be doing a trade breakdown. Before I get to that, we are on the way to 100 subs. If you have been liking the memes, the trade breakdowns, and just my content overall, please, you know what to do. Anyways, let's go straight to the trade breakdown today. And that's actually going to be a little bit more lengthy than normal because we have two trades and we have some mistakes to go over. So first of all, this blue trade right here is a trade that I wanted to take. And this trade is the one I actually took. So first things first, since they both have the shared confluences, let's go ahead and do the top-down analysis, okay? So ES had tapped a 1 hour gap as well as NQ. This is on the 1 hour. Or this time frame is the 1 minute, but this was on the 1 hour. So just want to make sure that was clear. So we also had this London low that got swept during market open. We had swept and respected the higher time frame fair value gap. So my bias was going to be for bias until we sweep these highs here. Spoiler, we did not sweep those highs and we pushed down. Now, in terms of entry, okay, so I had a breaker block here and a fair value gap here. We could have technically used the inverted fair value gap, which would have been a little bit better confluence, but I'm not going to over exaggerate the trade idea here. Now, what was the great thing about this trade? Okay, so we had one of our stronger entry models, which was going to be the breaker block plus fair value gap combo. And we were itching towards the macro. Okay, now why didn't I not take it? That's going to be a topic for a later video. So if you guys are interested in that, stick around. And spoiler alert, it's going to be related to news. Okay, so I did not take it because of news. And this was technically high impact news. So if we go over here to TopStepX's topic platform, if we're going to go over to here. Was it this one? No, it was this one right here. So we had this news right here. I've never clicked this before, but I guess it leads to that website. Oh well. Main point is red. Okay. When trader says red folder news, they say, okay, high impact. Okay. So I was under the impression that this was super, super, important news. I should not be trading. And I psyched myself out of this beautiful opportunity. And it wasn't just me. It was actually my buddy too. We were on call together. We were usually on call together. And he did not take it either. We wanted to follow our trading plan. And our trading plan is to not trade news. Okay. Trade after news or well before it. Well before it. So ultimately, we missed out on this opportunity here. If we were in it, we would be in no drawdown for almost a 1-4 on this bad boy. Okay. But we did not take it. So here comes the next trade. The next trade, shared confluences. We still were bullish at the time. So I had entered here. So this is what it looked like prior. Okay. So I was anticipating it from this being the new higher low to keep going up. Did not do that. Ultimately came back down to break even. Now, here's a mistake on my end, okay? So, look at that. I was at 1-2. I should have been okay with that. Now, I had initially entered with a lower risk amount, so I psyched myself out on top of it. I entered with a $600 risk, which I should be risking a little bit more. And my take profit was about like right here. That would have been like 1% on my account. So if I had actually risked the appropriate amount, I would have realized like, hey, I already hit my 1% for today. So was actually a very solid setup. I believe we had graded the setup. This is what we're going to be talking about here shortly. But this trade ended up being a 95%. So this was actually an A setup. So I'd take it again and again and again. I know a lot of people on Instagram is like, why do you take buys? It was obviously sales day. Dude, it was still an A setup. Now, here comes the big topic, okay? So the big topic here is news, okay? I psyched myself out of this trade because of the news candle, okay? Look, I even respected it on ES. This was a solid freaking setup, okay? Now, look at how smooth and controlled that move was and how erratic this was. What's the difference between this red folder news and this red folder news, okay? Okay, so US S&P Services PMI final. US ISM services PMI. So what does that mean? What does that like truly entail? Well, that means is one, I don't even know what those goods are. I don't even know what that news does. But there's one thing for certain, and that is, there's more important news and least important news. And what I'm trying to differentiate is what's more important, what's not less important, and et cetera, et cetera. What can I trade and what can I not trade? Obviously, we already know FOMC, um, NFP, CPI, right? FOMC. I already said FOMC, like, but the Fed chair, all that, right? So, this is like a real rough idea that I, kind of outlined here. So, when it comes to red folder news, this tier right here, I am not touching. I am not touching any of that news. I'm trading after it. Yellow light. So this is still red folder news for on Forex.com or Forex Factory and stuff like that. They kind of deemed it like orange folder and yellow folder, but on Top Step it was all what you would see as normally orange or yellow, they would mark it as red. So this is kind of why I'm like going this approach right now. This tier two, trade with caution. The green light ones, I'm just going to trade. So what do you see here? S&P Global Services PMI final. Ooh, isn't that familiar? Isn't that familiar? What did I just say right here? So I don't know if you guys can read that, but as a U.S. S&P Services PMI final, that impact was not that big, right? So that was actually safe to trade. There wouldn't have been much slippage. There wouldn't have been much of anything. And I missed an opportunity because I was foaming myself out of a trade. Okay. So in summary, I am going to be doing far more research into what news I can trade and what news I should not trade. Obviously, I already know what to not trade. I just want to know what I can trade so that I'm not missing out on these opportunities here. So I believe that's going to be it for the video. I hope you guys have gained some value out of this. I'm probably going to put this link in the description. So if you guys actually want to check out this Notion little template, news template, go for it. Use it. I want you guys to have some value. And like I said, this is rough. I just slapped this together like 5 minutes ago. So anyways, I hope you guys have a great day. God bless. And don't forget to sub and like the video. Also, inside joke. Hello, Michael.